أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين حبيب الله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين أما بعد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بقية الله خير لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. I begin by giving my peace and blessings to the Holy Prophet and his blessed progeny, and by congratulating all of you on the birth of a Sahib al-Asri was Zaman. As a Shia, we are blessed when we realize, especially on this day, a lot of you might have realized, that we get to know our Imam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left a person to be as his representative on the earth. And with many religions we can see, from Christianity to Judaism to even the other schools in Islam, they have a general understanding of a Mahdi, a Messiah that will arrive at the end of time. And this is known as Messianism. So Messianism is not something that is strictly for us as Shia, for us to understand that we only are the only ones that believe in someone who will arrive at the end of time, a Mahdi, a Messiah. Rather, in every book we can see that this is something which is a common theme. At the end of times, there will be someone who reappears, by whatever name, who will arrive and bring justice onto the earth. But here's the difference. For us as Shia, we're very blessed. Because we, not just that we know that we have someone who is there, but we believe he is close to us. We believe he's born, and he exists among us. And we can have a connection, a spiritual connection with our own Imam. So this is a blessing in itself. We have our wilayah that exists even today. You can call to Imam Zaman at any time. When you're praying salah, when you're asking from Allah, you can call to Imam Zaman then. When you have difficulties in your life, you can call to Imam Zaman then. It's like having someone who's there to listen to you, to hear you with any of your problems that you have, for him to intercede for you. So these are the important aspects of imamah that we need to discuss, of having that idea of messianism within our own schools of thought. And in the above verse that I recited, بَقِيَةُ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. This is really important for us to understand the exact meaning of this. Baqiyatullah is that which remains from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left us prophets, 124,000. And after that, the 12 Imams, or the 11 Imams to be exact. And then we have Baqiyatullah, that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left for us as Muslims. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the holy verse, He says, Baqiyatullah khayrun lakum. And it is better for you, in kuntum mu'mineen, if you are, with, of course, the condition that you are true believers. Not just believers, but true ones. Those who within their hearts have that connection to our Imam. Only then is he better for you. So this is one of the important verses that it said that when Imam Zaman appears, that Imam Mahdi will say this. He will recite this verse and he says, أَنَا بَقِيَّةُ اللَّهِ فِي الْأَرْضِ. I am this person. I am that which remains from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala onto this earth. And it's very important for us to understand that if it was not for having someone who is a guardian of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a wali that exists on this earth, a connection to Allah, then we would all be ruined. And there are a lot of verses that explain this, that a proof of hujjah of Allah should always exist. But Allah would never punish you, O Prophet, as you are within their midst. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not punish the people as long as you are that rahmah that exists among the people. So even today, if you realize, this extends all the way for his Ahlul Bayt. This is not only specifically for the Prophet at his time. when we discuss Imam Zaman. And that's one of the important aspects that I wanted to discuss tonight. That belief in our wilayah and how blessed we are as Shia, that we have so many different qualities that we can gain from this. That we have our Imam and we're aware of who he is, and we have so many narrations about him that we can establish that close connection, as opposed to any of the other schools or any other beliefs in Messianism. That when we have a Khalifat fil Ars, when we have our Imam that exists, that we can establish that connection with them. And we can call to them when we're in need, for them to intercede on our behalf. And there's another verse that I'd like to bring in relation to this. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ وَإِقَامَ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِيتَاءَ الزَّكَاةِ وَكَانُوا لَنَا عَابِدِينَ. We also made them leaders, Imams, guiding by our command and inspiring them to do good. So this explains our different Imams, of course, just to extend that discussion even further. That these are all representatives that exist as leaders for us. And how blessed are we that we know our leader, as opposed to others who believe that there might be someone that comes along that line. And Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, if the earth were to be without an Imam, were to be without someone who is a guardian within this earth, it would go under. So this shows the importance that an Imam must have for us. That as an Imam, he is there for us to receive blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is always from Allah, but through him we can receive those blessings. And Allah always has someone who is on this earth. This is a fundamental belief for us as Shia, for us to understand that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has blessed us with having a wilayah here upon this earth. And it's also said from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was asked if the Shia can benefit during the time where he is in occultation, when he is not here. So this is also a secondary discussion that I wanted to have regarding this hadith. Many of us have that understanding of imamah, of Mahdiism. That's at the end of times, or at now, our Imam is there, but he is not with us. He will arrive with us after, to a point. But this is an important point that I want to correct for all of you for your understanding. That when we have an Imam, he exists in this moment with us, not that he's going to arrive to us at a later date. And the Holy Prophet during this time, there's even a hadith within our books that have said, the Holy Prophet replies about this. He says, I swear by the one who has sent me as a prophet, they do benefit from him and are illuminated by the light of the guardianship. Even during his occultation, the Holy Prophet says, even during the time where he's in ghaibah, just as people benefit from the sun, even when it is concealed by the clouds. And this is an important way for us to understand our Imam. That it is just like a cloud that is there that blocks us from seeing him. The sun is always there, right? It's not possible for that sun to not exist or it's going to arrive at a different date. It is always there. And we're blessed from the blessings of that sun. But of course there are clouds that are covering that sun, so we won't be able to see it. And only from that cloud that's there is what we have today. This ghaibah means within those clouds, our Imam does exist, but it's only us who cannot see him. Salawat. And for us, we need to understand that. This important concept that our Imam is there, and we can have that connection with him even today. That it is said from the 6th Imam, Man mata wa la ya'rif imam zamanihi, mata mayyita jahiliya. He who dies and he does not know the Imam of his time, he dies the death of ignorance. This is not a book, this is not a hadith that just exists within our own books. This exists for even our brothers in Ahl Sunnah. This is something that is considered Hasan, a very strong hadith. That's within our times, every single time must have an Imam. And if you don't know that Imam, it is as if you died a death of Jahiliyyah. So what is our responsibility in regards to this? For us to be able to know him. For us to be able to establish that connection with our Imam. For us not to be considered that death of Jahiliyyah. And in comparison, if we were to, for example, look at the response, they might say that the Imam of his time is the ruler of his time. Habibi, what do you mean the ruler of his time? So if there's a Yazid of our time, where there's an evil ruler, if we don't know him, are we the ones that are dying in Jahiliyyah? It's him that's in Jahiliyyah, of course not us. So if it's a a ruler that is, for example, not pure. Can we even say that this is Imam Zamani? Of course not. This is, the Imam of our time, of course, has to be a Sahib al-Zaman. And only through him are we able to be illuminated. Salawat. So my brothers, sisters, and respected scholars, these are the two important points tonight that I wanted to discuss. The fact that within our Imam, we must have an Imam within our time. And we must recognize him. This is an important understanding. And not having the wrong understanding that our Imam will appear. No, he's here now. He exists today. And we have to establish that connection with him. And when we establish that connection and we realize him, we get two important points. There are two important fundamental qualities that are prominent in this awaiting. And I want to speak on those tonight. Inshallah, within the time I have, I want to look into these two qualities. After understanding the existence of our Imam on his blessed birthday, we have to understand these two qualities. What are they? Hope and justice. When you have this awaiting, when you are awaiting for our Imam, you will have hope and you will have that belief of justice. What do I mean by that? With the 15th of Sha'aban today, this is an embodiment of hope within us. That we see it today all around us. There's so much injustice which happens. And for many who don't believe in such a Imam or someone to arrive at a later time to bring goodness, of course they feel hopeless, right? Many of you today, when you turn on the TV, you see so much different types of news. And they're mostly negative because, of course, that's what gains views. So when you see so much negative types of content or different types of news that comes to you, you feel very hopeless that, this world is like this. There's nothing we can do. But no, when we have that hope embodied within us, and that belief that there is an Imam that exists there, and Wali, a representative of God on this earth, that he won't leave this world to be like this. He won't leave this situation to be in such a manner. He's going to arrive, inshallah, and during that time I have to be ready to serve for him, for me to be one of his companions. And with this, I want to bring that point of us Shia recognizing our Imam. When we Shia recognize our Imam, we have even more hope than anyone else, right? Those who believe in an Imam might not feel too confident in it. That, it exists or so. There's some scholars that believe in a Mahdi. Well, no. We would say that there is an Imam and we know who he is. So we can call to him and we can have that hope within our hearts for us to be able to connect to him, for him to arrive at a time. When we believe in existence and we address him, we find hope within our hearts that we don't feel in a way that everything is out of our hands and everything is left to the oppressors. And that brings us to our secondary point. So first, this day is a day of hope, a day of understanding that there exists someone who is there, our Imam of our time, that can help us, that's always there for us to receive that salvation, that faraj, salawat. And I've discussed this before. I'm sure a lot of you have been in my audience in one of my last programs when I discussed on the 15th of Sha'aban. It must have been 2 years ago. About what we have to do in response to this. And that awaiting, what does that awaiting mean? But I want to expand on that today, of course, with these 2 points. So the first is hope. For us to get hope as Shia, as followers of the Ahlul Bayt, and as a follower of our Imam. And secondary, that concept of justice. When we believe that there is an Imam that will truly bring peace into this world, and it will truly bring that justice into this world, then we understand that concept, right? As we said, today when we look around us, there's so much injustice that exists. But we know that with our Imam, it's believed that when he comes, that he will bring a system in which no one will be receiving anything that is unjust. Everyone will receive that justice. And Imam Mahdi himself, we have a famous hadith that says, what does the Imam say? I am Al-Mahdi, I am the still living one who will establish justice throughout the world, the same as it has been filled with oppression. Surely the earth will never remain without a witness, and people will not live in a lack of a leader. Thus do not retell this deposit except for your Muslim brothers who are men of God. So this is a very famous hadith that points to the Imam himself explaining this, that he is Baqiyatullah fil ardh. He is that which remains from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. So it is our obligation for us to be able to await him. Okay, now we believe that our Imam exists. So what next? What now? How do we prepare for that Imam? And as I said, I described this previously and I went into it a bit further. Unfortunately, I don't have that time tonight. But if you can always read books. There's so many different ones that explain this even further. You won't receive enough ma'arifah of our Imam just from a 15-minute lecture. You need to make sure that you are searching further and understanding our Imam. But one of the important things that, as a general khalas discussion, think of it as this. You have a guest coming to your home. And if that guest is coming to your home, what do? Do you just leave it dirty? Do you not prepare yourself? Well, will you say no? If my guest is coming to my house, of course I want to, prepare sweets. I want to prepare chai. I have to prepare that. I have to clean the house, right? And I have to vacuum it. So this is just an example. You won't leave your house in that manner if it's a special guest, right? Forget it's just a guest. This is the king. He's going to come. Or the president. Or whoever. He's going to arrive to your house. Well, you would be, okay, I have to prepare. I have to, prepare everything very special for him. Well, think of that as our Imam. Our Imam is going to arrive. Who knows, maybe it's next Friday that the Imam arrives. Do you have your house ready? That is the question you need to ask for yourselves. Is my house ready for the Imam when he arrives as my guest, for him to be able to feel comfortable within that home? And by that home, I mean yourselves, right? So ask ourselves, have we built our character as a reflection of our A'imma, as a reflection of our Imams, for us to be able to serve to him when he arrives, right? Because if our Imam comes next Friday, are we able to serve him in the best of our capabilities? Have we prepared our hearts to be able to take on that mission? So we must live in that manner. And one of our sisters, the sister who was reciting before about Imam Hussein, as she was speaking, that was a very good point. There's a very famous thing for us to understand, that when we reflect Imam Hussein on Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, we need to understand that there is a parallel here. On the day of Ashura, when Imam Hussein he calls, Hal min nasir yansuruna, is there someone to help us? Who will you be on that day? That's an important question for you to ask. Will I be on the side of Yazid? Many also say, no, of course not. Me, I'm a Shia. I love Imam Ali. I love Imam Hussein. I love my Ahlul Bayt. Why would I be on the side of Yazid? So were the people of Kufa. They believed that they were on the right path, right? We see even Shimr, apparently he prayed even his night prayers. But he's the one who stands against Imam Hussein, and he's the one that attacks Imam Hussein. So where are you standing on that battlefield even today? If Karbala was to exist tomorrow, where will you be in this situation? So this is the parallels we need to understand. When Imam Hussein calls, Hal min nasir yansuruna, is there anyone to help us? When the Imam calls, Hal min nasir yansuruna, where will you be on that day? So that's that reflection that we need to have. So as we discussed, we need to have that connection with Baqiyatullah for us to be able to prepare ourselves and our souls to be able to connect with Him, inshaAllah. Ya Allah, we ask you to bring us near to our Imam and make us one of his loyal companions. Ya Allah, we ask you to keep us away from evil that you have created, the shar that you have created, and bring us towards khair, that goodness. Ya Allah, we ask you to guide us into the straight path that reaches you. Ya Allah, we ask that you don't take us from this world unless you have forgiven us for our sins. عجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان صلوات.